our show now.
I just read some articles saying that they pretty much would stick with Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season. Well, wouldn't you?
But yesterday we was like, well, we'll see. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Well, he should have made his mind up already. Is 120 minutes of football not enough for Doug Peterson to say, okay, I've seen enough on Jalen Hurts. Yes, he's going to start our final 2 games, and he will possibly be the starter next season. I've seen everything I need to see from Jalen Hurts.
Well, I think he's all in his feelings about Carson Wentz. So he's trying to protect feelings. Well, you know how I feel about protecting feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I care about them W's.
There's 100 million. But Paul, there's 100 million ways that Doug Peterson can have swayed feelings. It's that contract with Carson Wentz, and I mean, money talks. You spent all that money on Carson Wentz, and he's not performing. Of course, they're going to have conflicted feelings on this.
I got 707 reasons. It would only take me 7 minutes and 7 seconds to tell you all the reasons.
Yeah. And then this is something that we talked about in our last show, I believe, just exactly this, with Hurts taking this role from Wentz. So, and, Hurts has come out there. He's making a statement. He wants this. And if it's not going to be with the Eagles and coming up as a starter for next season, I hope that there's a team, maybe the 49ers, maybe the Patriots or the Panthers, just to name a couple
Jaguars
teams that benefit off of a quarterback such as he has become.
Oh yeah, Joe. You mean Hurts or Wentz?
You mean Hurts or Wentz?
Hurts.
Oh, he's not going nowhere.
Oh, he's not going nowhere. They're not letting him go. No,
Wentz is out of there. Yeah, he's on the contract.
Wentz will be the first one to go.
Yeah.
So just to go back real quick, PLR, I like what you mentioned about the Cardinals and maturing team. I do agree with you that this is a team we are giving them a little bit of a hard time, but they've come a long way. I'd rather see them win than to see them lose in the situations that they put themselves in and they've overcome. So putting themselves and having control of the situation and being able to go to putting themselves in a position to dictate their outcome, to be in the playoffs, then just speaks volumes of the team that they've matured to be, and with the players that they have. And the additions too, that's also, it is a different team than it was last season. That's one thing that's for sure. But just before we wrap up, we have the playoffs just here around the corner. We have some teams that have clinched. The Packers, just naming off the NFC first, Packers, Saints, the Seahawks. We have, still the Washington football team and the LA Rams that are still in the hunt for that one of those spots in the playoffs. We have in the AFC, we have the Chiefs who have clinched, the Steelers who are, now went down 11-2, but we also have the Bills, Buffalo Bills, that team, that was to look out for, and they turned it around. So they're 11-3. We have in the hunt Tennessee Titans. We have the Browns, just to name a couple of those teams. But it is getting very, very intense, coming down the last couple of games of the season, going into the playoffs. So it's going to, I'm just very excited to see how it's all going to go down and to see the matchups as we go into that first week of the playoffs.
I'm excited to see who's going to come out the AFC. Of course, it'll most likely be Kansas City, because until you stop number 15, the Chiefs are unstoppable. They're unbeatable. And we saw it on Sunday with his performance against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome. Until you stop the magic that Patrick Mahomes can make on any given play, the Chiefs are going to come out of the AFC and be in Tampa in the Super Bowl. I just don't know. I don't see anybody in the AFC that can stop them. Do you, PLR?
No, they got an alien at quarterback. Yeah. And on the 4-letter, they broke down a play with Travis Kelce and how they milked the clock. They are the best team in the NFL at closing out a game. And listen, I get in a lot of trouble for saying this. Pittsburgh is overrated. I like the Steelers. I like what they've done. I love their coach, but they can't run the ball. And they're going to actually end up falling behind to the 3rd seed, to the Buffalo Bills, who have just played magnificent. And Joe's right. When she started naming those teams, I started thinking of all the strengths that those teams have. Tennessee with their ability to run, and Indianapolis with their ability to play defense, and Lamar Jackson out there, and just it's just so many talented teams in the AFC. Honestly, whoever comes out of the AFC, I think will win the Super Bowl, because in the NFC, 1 week you think LA is the best, then they choke away a game. Then you think it's the Packers, and then they can't play defense. Then you go in Seattle, then they can't play defense. It's too many moving parts. But I guess in the NFC, since we're where we are, the key is let's get the Cardinals in there. And if the Cardinals can't get in, I know a team that can. Indignatory.
Oh, goodness. Fingers crossed. And, we got to see now without the Patriots, New England Patriots did not make it to the playoffs. They lost for the first time, I believe, since 2008 in the first season without Tom Brady. They came short. So I'm just interested to see right now as far as Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, if he's going to be able to put Tampa in that position and be able for Tom Brady to make it to another playoff or with another team, or is it also going to be another first for Tom Brady not being with the Patriots, not being able to take his new team to the playoffs? So there's still a chance there. They do still have a couple of games left. We'll see them, I believe, Thursday, if I do recall correctly, and seeing how that's gonna turn out for them.
That win in Atlanta on Sunday was a great start for them, Joe. For them to come back from a 24-7 deficit, and they rallied back, and Tom threw a touchdown to his guy, AB. First touchdown, those two connected up one. Great win for them to come back, and they should beat Detroit, and then they have Atlanta again. So they could win 4 straight and make the playoffs. They've already beat Minnesota, Atlanta. They got Detroit. That's a winnable game, even though it's in Detroit. It's inside of a dome, but that's something that Tom can go off on. And then they got Atlanta at home. That's a winnable game as well. So it's a very good possibility that Tampa is there.
Well, and they got a real favorable spot last night to close out that Atlanta game. I mean, that ball was not only was the marking short, the ref moved the ball up, the chains touchdown. It was that short, and somehow they still gave them a first down. But I will tell you one thing. I know a team in the NFC, in the Central, that Tampa lost to.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay.
That's the Bears, just in case you're curious.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So before we go, though, time to wrap it up and coming close to that hour. So I'm going to put this all on PLR. I know we typically do it as a group, but we're short on time, and glad to have you back on and joining us. And we haven't had an opportunity to do this with you recently. I have to get your good, your bad, and your ugly off of this last week's NFL games. So what would they be, PLR?
The bad is that spot in Tampa. That was just bad. I think it's bad for the NFL because technically that's the second break they've given Tampa that should have one loss for sure earlier this year. And then I'm not saying that spot would have changed anything, but that's just a bad look when a lot of people think there's already a conspiracy to get, Tampa into the playoffs. That's just a bad look. So I think that's the bad. The ugly, I'm going to say, and stuff we spoke about earlier, I think the coach of Philadelphia is the ugly right now. This kid is out playing Wentz. That he's better. Right now he's better for the team. The team is vibing, and for whatever reason you want to keep stalling to spare the feelings of your guy. I think that's I don't think that's good. And then the good, there's a couple goods, to be honest with you. That pass that number 15, the alien in Kansas City, threw to Miracle Hardeman in the end zone was just outlandish. DeAndre Hopkins coming down with that ball, that 45-yarder along the edge, and then that touchdown after was just insane. And I know I'm going to be called a homer for this. And the Bears realizing that Chicago is a run-first team and giving the ball to a running back that many times and letting that kid eat. I thought those were the three goods. Oh, and there's one more. Buffalo just taking care of business in Denver and Allen. Those are to me. I know this weekend was too much just to say one, but to me those were all the goods and the good stuff that came out of the NFL this weekend.
Definitely a lot of good, not too much ugly to pick out of this last week's games, but definitely a lot of good. And I just want to throw one out there. I do have to give it up to Dallas Cowboys coming up with that win after all those struggles and challenges they have come. It has been a huge challenge for the Dallas Cowboys, and just to see them come out with the win finally, I think that was amazing. So,
one more ugly.
There's so much more that
Jets. The Jets, they blew Trevor Lawrence.
Jacksonville didn't, did they? Jacksonville didn't.
Only the Jets could screw up the next 15 years of their franchise.
Is that a surprise?
Go Jets,
really,
go.
Though?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Squirrel. But there's just so much more that I know we can just keep talking. It's sports. We love it. We breathe it. We pretty much eat it too. And it's just, all around us each day. But, we actually have to bring it to an end and wrap it up. So PLR, we miss you being on always when you're not on here. And it's always so much fun.
Well, I thank you for bringing me back. I'm glad I'm off my suspension. A lot of people don't know this. Joe suspended me for a couple months, but she brought me back thanks to Ed Cole, who was lobbying for me to come back. So I appreciate it, and I'll make sure. Notice I didn't use one cuss word, and I think that's what I got suspended for.
You did not get suspended. I did notice you were in good behavior today. I do have to give you that. Not one slip. So no, always welcome here. I know schedules can get busy, and with basketball and football and baseball and everything happening all at once, you're a busy guy too. Let our listeners know where they can go ahead and find you, listen to you, and all of that good stuff.
Well, every day at 1:00, catch me over at The Cave Show. Go to thesportscave.com, Caves with a K. Click that listen live button. We are there. If you ever miss it, you can catch us on KSRN. Download that app as well. We replay at 3:00, and also we're live there too at 1:00. So if you miss us, that's on you, because we're on there. We're on there 11 times a week. So make sure you check us out. Ed was on with me on Thursday. We do picks. I swear to God, it's one of the funniest things you will ever hear, the two of us picking football games, because Ed is such an innocent dude, and I am firmly in the corner of debauchery. So it is fun to listen to those picks. So at the Sports Cave with the K on the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, sportscave.com with the K, and then PLR on sports on Twitter. But I say whatever the hell I want to say on my own Twitter, so don't get offended easily.
Never, ever. So I have to, just say, follow him, PLR on sports on Twitter. You'll get some good kicks. And yes, if you're easily offended, just watch out.
Yep, don't enter. Do not enter.
Do not enter. You should have a caution on your bio, PLR, on your Twitter bio.
Put some police tape on there.
Some. I come for the want to see a dead body. Was my man saying in the movie?
You want to see a dead body? Yep.
And where can our listeners find you?
Is it redundant to say they can catch me on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, catch me on here. Catch me on Twitter at EdCole43, and on Instagram at EdwardCole301, and Facebook Edward Cole, and on the Sports Cave every week with PLR on Thursdays, picking games.
And
that's it. And what?
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
And of course, you can follow me on Twitter, Johanna-Rosalye, JROSALYE, same handle for Instagram. That's my own personal page. And then, of course, you can find us at our website, insidesports.net, Twitter, Inside Sports with an extra S at the end. And on Twitter, you can get us there at Inside Sports Net. You can also listen to us on all major podcast platforms, and check us out also on KSRN every weeknight with new shows airing on Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. And then we air